Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful July 4th if you celebrate. Some may not. But for me today, I had to dig into the Pink and Main Crafty Courtyard subscription box for July 2019. And from this kit, I've made 6 cards, and I will take you step by step through them. So first, let's look at the contents that come in your subscription box for July. Now, this month's theme is called Pen Pals. So first, let's dig into or show the color palette for July. The names of these colors: Paris is a pink, Awning is like a peachy orange, you have Skyscraper, which is like a teal green, but it's got some dots. The Jeweler, which is the blue, we get a piece of mirror cardstock, 2 pieces of white, Cobblestone, and Sidewalk. Now, one of those grays is shimmery. As always, you get a 6x6 paper pad, and again, that is called Pen Pals. And what I really love about this paper pad is it really matches the stamp set. So I thought that was really, really cool. Images, fonts, everything. So it was neat. I was having fun with it. As always, you get your card to show you the color palette in color, and also it'll give you the brief descriptions of what is in your subscription. You're going to get some Doris sparkle glitter glue. You are going to get and here I'm just showing you what it looks like. So on dark cardstock, you will see the glitter. You are able to write with it. Know that this does take a while to dry. Ask me how I know. Yeah, so it does. It doesn't dry. I mean, it doesn't set like Nuvo Drops does, so it just take a little bit longer. You have some washi tape and it looks like it's a rose gold. Yes, it is rose gold. Some 3 yards of each of gray and white, and also solid gray twine. Some awesome paper clips. A sequin, this is a confetti pack. And also rose gold mirrored hearts, gems, a cute die that forms an envelope, and a heart. And then, of course, we have to have our pin, which I'm having an awesome collection in front of me. And then here is our stamp set. I am in love with these images. I am in love with the fonts. You can make, not a bill, not junk mail, sending paper hugs, sending smiles. So you can build on your sentiments as well. But what I really do like is the fact that the 2 different fonts. So for card number 1, let's just get right started. I cut from the pattern paper using the envelope die. Of course, an envelope. So I'm going to use my liquid adhesive just to adhere each of the sides. And then, now all of my coloring and all of my fussy cutting has been done off camera, just to save some time. What I did use to color all of my images are my Arteza colored pencils. It's the 72 pack, the Expert. And I only used, here is the gray Copic marker. It's the C1 that I used. Now, what I do like about this gray, and it can be any gray, it's a cool gray, it can create a shadow. So just by following that line of where the paper is folded, my envelope looks like it's folded. Yeah, it's one of the things I love doing. So again, just one simple color. Now I either use C1 or C3 with that, or 10% or 30% in the Prismacolor alcohol markers, just to give that shadow. So I know it looks different, but I want the envelope to hold the little snail and the mouse friend, and they're mailing a little envelope, but I just thought it was cute looking like that. I'm going to use the sentiment, not junk mail, and I'm going to prop that image up using my double-sided foam squares. So it's kind of the focal. Now I am going directly onto my standard A2 size card bases. All my cards for these projects in today's video are a standard size. So that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And they are, for the most part, top folding, except one. I made it a side folding, a landscape card. So again, all of the coloring and the fussy cutting was done offline, so please don't be mad. But again, it's all done by colored pencils or the gray, the cool gray alcohol marker. I grabbed some of the black and white twine and I created a bow. I was surprised it went this fast. Usually bows are my nemesis. I cannot create bows for the life of me. Tying it around a piece, yeah, forget that. Can't do that either. Yeah, it's just, you know, we all have those one things. I have many, but this is definitely one of them. So I'm just going to adhere that right down onto the corner. I am going to come in with my Spectrum Noir glitter pen. Now, know that when it comes to the Arteza colored pencils, and no, it's not the watercolor pencils, but when, excuse me, when I use my Spectrum Noir sparkle pen, it moves the color, which is kind of cool. So just an FYI, I don't know if anybody else has that, but I do. I used my black glaze pen for the eyes of my two little ones, just so that they would stand out more. So for card number 2, mishap right there, I have now got ink, the Altenew Obsidian ink all over the place. Oh yeah, it took me a while to clean it. So, felt the need to edit that out for you. But I'm going to cut around my sentiment. It says right back soon, and I'm going to create a cloud. So you don't need a die for a cloud. You can cut that out. Now, if it's easier, you can draw around it and cut around the line. So this is the background that I created. So one of the stamps was this strip of envelopes, and I just fell in love with it. And Courtney Krieber inspired me because she did the one where she just kept on layering and layering and layering, I think, and she kind of did the same thing. So I did that with this strip. I used my Simon Says masking paper, and the only alcohol marker I used was the C1 just to give the envelopes some color, and I staggered them, and then I cut them out. And they just fit perfectly on my standard A2 size card base. So I really had a lot of fun with that. It's daunting to do, very much so. Once I have my sentiment set, I'm going to prop that up using my double-sided foam squares, and I'm going to come in with my Stardust gel pen and just accent around the cloud. I'm going to pull out the confetti sequins that came in the kit, and I'm just going to place them sporadically throughout the panel. Now that panel is not propped up. It was glued directly down onto my card base. The only item that is propped up is the little tiny cloud note. When I colored in the hearts, I did use my Arteza colored pencils, and I didn't do any coloring or shading, what I should say. I did, obviously I colored. I didn't do any shading, but I also did the rainbow. So I started from pink, then went to red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and then purple. So there's 7 that actually go across there. So I'm just playing around with the placement to make sure that I have those confettis throughout. And what's great is since I'm putting them on top of the hearts, they picked up the color of the heart. For card number 3, I grabbed 2 pieces of cardstock from the paper pad, and the first one with almost like fireworks. I thought it was fitting for July 4th there. I cut to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and the blue polka dot one I cut to 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. I'm going to adhere using a tape runner onto my standard A2 size card base, the first layer, and then I will prop up the next layer. Or no, I'm sorry, I will do the same. I will adhere that directly down onto my card base. It is going to go on just on an angle because it's what I do. I like the 90 degree and the, you know, matchy when I'm matting sometimes. But I do like putting things on an angle. I think it makes them stand out just a little bit. Again, if you would like to make it straight, make it straight. That's the beauty of this. Be inspired to do the cards the way you want them. I stamped a bunch of those envelopes. I had a ball with the envelopes. And then I used the 1 alcohol marker, C1. And then I colored in the hearts. Now, since these hearts were a little bit bigger, I did do some shading, but again, just with one colored pencil, went in light and then heavy on one side. Now I'm just either using my liquid adhesive or I'm propping these up throughout the bottom, because that most adorable little dog is just going to sit on top of all of these envelopes. And for one of them, I did stamp the sentiment a little note. I thought it was fitting with the little envelopes and the little puppy with the little tiny envelope. It's, again, sentiments give me inspiration and kind of guide the way the card is going to go. It's very odd, I know. But I do tend to base my cards off of sentiments. I don't know why. I can't explain it. But they just make, oh, this would be cute if it looks like this. So once I have him adhered down, I'm going to take my Spectrum Noir glitter pen and go over the hearts. And you can see how it's moving the color. And again, trust me, these are the watercolor, or not the watercolor pencils. These are the colored pencils. So again, just something very interesting. Makes me go, So for card number 4, again, grab some cardstock, and I'm just looking to trim down one of these sections in here. I'm looking for those specific colors, and it's just going to accent along the bottom of my card. You can see my little girl there. I've, again, already colored her and fussy cut her out. Again, using my Arteza colored pencils. So again, all of my images, that's what I used. So then I don't have to keep on saying that. I'm sure I'm driving you crazy with that. So I wanted to trim this down because I really wanted the purple and the blue to shine through. I'm going to use some double-sided foam tape just to prop that up so that it looks like it's a step that she is stepping on somewhat, if that makes sense. Once that is set in place, I'm going to trim off the sides using my long shears, being very careful not to cut my finger on that. Yeah, I've done that too. Yeah, I'm a klutz. I'm going to use my double-sided foam squares. I actually cut one of the panels from the paper pad as my sentiment. And again, that one says a little note. I'm going to use my foam squares also to prop her up. And I'm going to make sure I use some liquid adhesive because her one foot is going to be down on that strip. So it's going to kind of create that bridge so I didn't have to cut my foam square uber tiny to make her propped up. Yeah, I have a method to my madness. I wanted to pull out this rose gold washi tape. And this is wonderfully low tack washi tape. Sometimes washi tape, this tape is not low tack. It's pretty tacky. I've destroyed many pieces of paper, but this one is not, but it is staying adhered onto my card. It hasn't popped up yet. I'm going to use my sparkle pen again just to go over that envelope on the sentiment square, and I'm going to come in with a mirror heart, one of the larger sizes, and I'm going to place that over that heart. So for card number 5, again, I've got my little girl colored over there, and I'm going to be using one of their dies that were recently released, was the inside scalloped rectangle. And these are really cute because the scallops do go to the inside and there is a stitched line around it. I pulled out my makeup brushes and shaded lilac in Distress Oxide, and I'm just putting just a hint of color to the back. I wanted to go with purple because of the large pencils she's holding. Yellow and purple are opposites, so they're complementary colors, if that's the right term that I'm using. They just look good together, if that makes sense. At least to me they do. Maybe they're not supposed to. I don't know. So I'm going to use my thin strip foam, double-sided foam strips. Okay, so I keep on saying that. Just to prop up this frame. And then once that's propped up, I'm going to set her down onto the bottom left-hand corner. Now, before I do, one of the things, since this was a pencil, I grabbed my Emboss It pen by Ranger. So this is just a marker or a pen that has embossing ink in it. So you can draw with it and then use your embossing powders to add some accents. So maybe you don't want, you know, all of the sequins in the world or gems or Nouveau drops, but I mean, you could use this pen to actually put dots and then use your embossing powder to use it for accents. So I'm going to use this marker just to draw 3 lines towards the top of the pencil, because you can see I have the color of the eraser or close to it, and then the color of the pencil. So by putting those 3 stripes, I'm going to pull out my gold embossing powder, and then I'm going to heat set that. So I don't know, usually if we see a pencil, we've got the metal band that goes around it. I don't know, I thought it was different. If you don't have that, then you can certainly cut a piece of gold mirror cardstock if you have that as well. I'm going to use my double-sided foam squares just to prop her up so that I can set her down into the corner so that she's coming up over the frame. And then for the sentiment, I chose thinking of you, and I'm going to use my scissors just to cut that into a banner, and I will fishtail one of the ends and then make sure that that's placed up underneath the pencil. So I want the pencil to come up underneath that. And you can see the purple in the background. It's just a hint, just a little bit of shading back there so that it's just not bright white. You can keep it bright white. You could have also used some acetate and turned that into a shaker as well, keeping her up front. I mean, you can certainly do that. So for the final card, again, played with those little tiny envelopes because I absolutely love them. Now, for those, I didn't use the alcohol marker. I used all of my colored pencils, and I'm using their cloudy frame die. And again, from a piece of the pattern paper, this is like the peachy orange with pink polka dots. And then the one that has all the sentiments, I cut using the cloudy die again so that I could have that same size as the center. I propped up the panel with the sentiments using my double-sided foam tape, and now I'm going to use my liquid adhesive to set my envelopes in place. And the way that I'm placing them is around when I have a full sentiment showing. So a little note, handmade hello, sending smiles, so that they're going to kind of become the focal point and stand out. I'm going to use some of the rose gold mirror hearts to cover up the hearts that I did color, and then I'm going to use one of the big ones and the small ones for the background. So those are the 6 cards that we made from the Pink and Main Crafty Courtyard July 2019 subscription box. Again, remember, the theme is called Pen Pals. As always, all of the products that I used will be listed down below, and if you have any questions or comments, please list those down below as well, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. This is opened, again, at the time that I did this editing and filming. This is still showing available, so you want to make sure that you get yours before that they are sold out. I will also, down in the video description, have just some notes and maybe some FAQs, frequently asked questions that you may have. I'm sure those answers will be down there as well. So please take the time to read that, and then that'll probably answer all of your questions. I want to thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video, especially if you do celebrate July 4th. And if you do, I hope you are having a great time. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe, tune in for my next video. So to do that, make sure you ring that bell, because then you'll be notified. I hope everyone's having a great day. Take care, but always remember what's most important. Always be creative.